Looks nice.
Tell John to give it plenty of water the first week.
You gonna finish packing?
Later. I want to clean up that cornfield.
Tried to get back earlier.
We had to go to Gilbert. But we found a nail file and clippers and a little kid.
Nail file and clippers?
You know Mike, he'll clean his nails in the jungle.
Same trouble last week. So what if the three of us get together and talk? You and Joe.
Hal, can we talk about it tomorrow? My boy's home on terminal leave.
Oh, sure. Where's he shipping out to?
Vietnam tomorrow.
Well, tell him to give him hell, huh?
You can tell where the quartz site gets orange and black. Down at the base there. Suppose old Blackhawk fired it himself? No? Well, could be. Out there hunting for deer. Or for our great-great-grandpa. Hey, it's yours. Thanks. Suppose if it was up to Blackhawk, none of us would ever have farmed this land. That probably wouldn't even have been in Iowa. Oh, there'd have been in Iowa. Just, the people might have been different. There's a story about Blackhawk when he was 71 years old and they took him out of prison and put him and his family on the reservation. On that first 4th of July, when Iowa became a territory, they had a big celebration and invited him to make a speech. By then, his old legs were wobbly. But he pushed himself up on a cane, and he said, "I love my village, my cornfields, the home of my people. I fought for them.
Lined a double to left field, giving the Los Angeles Dodgers a 5-4 victory over the New York Mets. In Saigon, the latest casualty figures released today reflect a slight deceleration in South Vietnam's ground war. The U.S. command reports 185 Americans killed and 1,057 wounded in the week ended last Saturday, compared with 197 killed and 1,367 wounded the previous week. Enemy deaths were put at 2,004.
Remember Dad always telling the story about you running away when he was slaughtering hogs?
How are you gonna be able to kill someone?
They teach you. I didn't hear you come in. Tired?
Yeah, a little. Why, you want to talk?
No, we all better get some sleep.
You want something from the kitchen?
No.
A beer?
No, thanks, Dad.
Mikey,
Yes?
be careful.
I will, Dad. I'll be gone a good while this time, so there'll be a lot more work around here. More than Dad can handle doing 2 jobs.
Don't worry, I'll help him. I'll do whatever you did. Try anyway.
Help Mom, too. And that's harder. She doesn't ask for it. All right? Oh, I forgot. Tell John I sprayed the lawn for dandelions, so he won't have to do it for a couple of months.
That won't exactly make him mad.
Well, he's not much of a farmer. But he's a good kid.
You didn't always feel that way. When I was pregnant with him, remember? You came up to me and you said, Mom, we haven't got enough room and we haven't got enough money. You said, ask the doctor.
I bet there's a pill you can take.
It's early.
Yes, it's very early. There's no one else here. Maybe I can check in.
He looks scared.
He's fine. He's fine. Over here.
Did you get a magazine?
Mom, they have them on the plane.
Well, do you need any?
Nothing, Mom, really.
I'll write you every day from school.
Not every day.
And I'll pray for you.
Oh, I'll miss you.
Remember, even if you and Alan are serious about getting married, you have to go on and finish college, all right?
I will. I promise.
Dad, now
Mikey,
you look after...
I was given this medal, holy medal, and I wore it all during the Second World War. It protected me. I'm giving it to you. Let me hold it.
Mom, you never cry? Don't worry. Come on now, Mom, please. The war will be over in 6 months. Okay? Okay. Wouldn't you know, I'd hit Saigon at the start of the monsoon season. Rain, rain, and more rain. Only have a minute to say hi. Same old stuff. Going to the mountains, so won't write for a few days. We're supposed to be building bunkers, but typical army, no materials and no tools. Oh, by the way, I ran into a boy from Waterloo by the name of Huddleston. Got the stuff, thanks. Oh, would you send some canned grapefruit juice? We're supposed to have the battalion commander out here sometime this week. You know, they've got to have their body counts. Come on, Mom, don't write me about these soft, smart kids that re-enlist to get out of combat. I've got no stomach for that type. I don't want to be here, but if you are, you do the job the best you can. We pounded a VC village for 3 hours in the middle of the night. About dawn, we burned out the whole village. Can't say much more, except 8 months left in this hellhole. Some GIs, out of frustration, are inhuman to these people. You don't really know who your enemy is, and the GI believes better me alive and him dead. It's just too complex to explain. Things have been quiet of late. I hope they stay that way. I'm counting the weeks, the days. It's all a crock. Oh yes, Mom, thanks for the tennis shoes. They let my feet dry out.
O Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
O Lord, make me an instrument of your peace.
Where there is hatred, let me bring love.
Where there is hatred, let me bring love.
Where there is injury, let me bring pardon.
Where there is injury, let me bring pardon.
Where there is sadness, let me bring joy.
Letter from Mikey!
What's he say? When did he write it?
Well, about a week ago, dear Mom and Dad went off the hill to get a haircut, but ended up hitching a ride to Chulai. Mars Station wasn't busy, so got to phone you.
Well, he must have written this the same day he called us.
Sure. He says, we'll be on the bunker line 2 more days, then back in the field.
That means more search and destroy.
No, it doesn't. Now, he's been doing company sweeps. He told us that in that
All
letter
right,
he got.
all
When was
right,
it?
finish the letter.
He says, weather here has been pretty good. Have decided not to take an R&R if I can get my early drop. So, till later, hang loose. Hang loose.
I don't like that he's going out in the field again.
He says it's one of the safer places, though. What's the matter?
Oh, I don't know. All day yesterday, I felt jumpy. I'm mad. I want to do something about this war, something. So, I cleaned the whole house and I made curtains for the boys' room.
Well, now, you've written to Senator Miller. You wrote to Nixon.
It's not enough.
You're just unhappy because Michael had to go, that's all.
No, it's not just Michael. It's all of them. Only I guess you don't feel the same way until it's one of your own.
You wouldn't want him to get out of it, would you?
No, I guess not.
Mother, chances are he'll be home by summer.
Knock wood.
Well, the wind's died down. I'm gonna go fix your television antenna for you. Is my boy dead?
Gene, this is Sergeant Fitzgerald. He's from Fifth Army headquarters.
Is my boy dead?
Come into the house with us. Please.
It's Mikey! It's Mikey! It's Mikey.
Mrs. Mullen.
Now, I want the truth. Is my boy dead?
Yes.
Yes. Gene, Peg, I'm sorry.
Why?
How was he killed?
I only know what the Fifth Army headquarters gave me over the phone this morning. Sergeant Michael Eugene Mullen, U.S. 5493, etc., died while at a night defensive position when artillery fire from friendly forces landed in the area. Non-battle casualty. I really am very sorry.
What do they mean by friendly?
It just means it wasn't enemy artillery. Your son was killed by friendly fire.
Friendly fire? Friendly fire?
It means any artillery from forces not the enemy.
You mean American forces? Why don't you say American?
Because it wasn't American. Maybe you heard on the news last night about Benoit. South Vietnamese artillery accidentally shelled an American position.
Michael wasn't anywhere near Benoit. He was 300 or 400 miles away.
Well, it often happens that the Viet Cong infiltrate these South Vietnamese units, get onto their radio channels, and call in the wrong artillery coordinates. So when the RVN fire, they hit Americans. I'm not saying officially that's it, but it has happened before.
That's what's meant by non-battle.
That means any casualty not directly from action by hostile forces. I am sorry.
You're just doing your job. I was a master sergeant myself. That was the Second World War.
You have the right to request a special escort to accompany your son's body back from Vietnam. If there's some special friend of his, anyone in particular you might want.
Michael had lots of friends.
Well, you don't have to decide right now. Or about the funeral home. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. Well, if there's nothing else, then
How long will it be before Michael's body comes back?
just as soon as they have a plane full.
Mary.
What is it?
Names. Everybody in Michael's life. I don't even know some of them.
They must have been important to him. Better find out, get in touch with him.
I'm going to write down everything Sergeant Fitzgerald told us about how Michael was killed. Everything we know.
Why?
I want to see it. In words.
Mom?
What time is it?
Almost 9:30. It's all right. Everybody's had breakfast.
Tom Loomis just phoned. Michael's body is coming in tomorrow night, accompanied by Sergeant Glenn Marin.
Who?
Yes, I did telegraph the names of the two men you requested to the Pentagon. It may have been passed over because Monday was an official holiday since Washington's birthday fell on a Sunday.
Sergeant Fitzgerald, may I remind you that our son tramped through the mud of Vietnam for 6 months regardless of holidays. We want one of the escorts we chose. You said it was our right, didn't you?
It is, but...
Roy O'Connor and Leo Manoni were both friends of his.
Call up the Pentagon.
I did this morning when you called me, and they... Oh, I'll give it to you straight. The man in charge of special escorts said, tell those people they can insist on one of these escorts. But if they do, they'll have to wait, take it or leave it, 10 to 15 more days.
Sergeant Fitzgerald, my son is dead. He's coming home in a casket. You can tell the Pentagon for me that I can wait 15 more years.
So on this Armed Forces Day, what we're doing is saluting our fighting men who are stationed all over the world, especially our troops in South Vietnam who are doing a great job under very tough conditions. Some people say that when we go to the aid of a little country like Vietnam, we're taking it away from the people. But what we're doing is helping the right people to keep it. Freedom and a democratic way of life. That's what America's always stood for and always will. Now, if there's any questions here, I'll be glad to answer them. Yes, sir.
When are more of our troops coming home?
Well, only President Nixon could answer that, sir. But I can tell you this, though, that we'd like to be home as soon as possible. But you don't want us to walk away and leave our grandsons to finish a job that we didn't have the courage to stick with. What we need from you people at home is to know that you're behind us so we can go on and do the job right. Like the President said, it's got to be peace with honor.
Why does the Army divide casualties into battle and non-battle?
Well, there is a difference, ma'am. Non-battle casualties are the ones that don't result from action by hostile forces.
Those boys died in this war, didn't they?
Yes?
And why aren't they included in the casualty count we hear on the TV news every night?
I don't know that they aren't.
Oh, they aren't. And they don't even count the boys who are wounded and die later in hospitals. Why are they listed as non-battle when they're just as dead as anybody else?
Ma'am, if you'll write to the Army's Public Affairs Office, I'm sure you'll get a satisfactory answer. All right, are there any other questions, please?
Everyone keeps asking me when the funeral's gonna be. You know, I can tell they think Mom's making too much of a fuss.
I don't care what they think.
I'm no good at expressing myself, but I had to tell you your grief is shared. Our Michael was killed last November.
All these Michaels. Seems like everybody 25 years ago named their boy Michael.
I never would have thought that people would write us like this, but they do.
More letters. Oh, this one's from the president.
Dear Mrs. Mullen, because of past correspondence which you have addressed to the White House, President Nixon wishes you to know he is truly sorry to hear of the death of your son. What's all this? Photocopies of his speeches on Vietnam.
I'm calling the airlines. Maybe they'll know something. Hello. This is Mr. Gene Mullen. We have been informed that our son's body is being flown in here from the Oakland Army mortuary, but we haven't been told when, and we're just waiting here, an entire family just waiting here. And I was wondering if you would have any record on any of your flights Michael Mullen. Yes, I'll hold on. They're going to check their log. Thank you very much. Tomorrow afternoon, 4:45. Accompanied by Sergeant Roy O'Connor.
Where's Dad?
He's in with Michael.
Is it Michael?
Yes.
Are you sure? Get me to the car.
You all right?
I'm all right. I just want to sit a while. You go on back in.
You sure?
Go on.
Feel better? Can I get you anything? Any water?
I want to know how my son died. I want a death certificate stating how he was killed.
I told you, Mr. Mullen. Right in here. Died while at a night defensive position.
That isn't it. You know it isn't. Take a look at him. There ain't a mark on that boy. Is there?
When I lifted up the body, I couldn't feel any broken bones or abrasions.
Now, I want to know what killed him.
Mr. Mullen, all I have is this.
Don't hand me that. I want a death certificate. I want to see it before I bury him.
I don't have one, sir.
When I saw Michael lying there, whole, without a mark on him, I wanted to. I don't know what I wanted, but I don't think I wanted to see him whole, you know. And I got so angry. Because he doesn't look as if he... You understand?
I think so.
I wanted him... I think I wanted him to have been blown to bits. I know I did, but he was whole. He was all whole. Oh, God. Why couldn't he have been blown to bits so I could believe he died in a war?
Here's the release paper giving you possession of the body. I've signed it.
You can give me his dog tags.
I'm sorry, I have to keep those, sir. They're part of your son's military equipment. They have to be retained for record. And I have a gold star here the Army wants you to have in recognition.
You keep it. I don't want it.
If you feel up to it, Gene, there are a couple of things I have to check with you. Now, the wake will be at home tomorrow, and the funeral mass at 10 o'clock Tuesday. The burial will be private at Mount Carmel and Eagle Center. Now, the VFW wants to provide a military funeral for Michael. They'll supply the honor guard, the bugler, and fire a salute if you want.
I don't want it. My son was a farmer, not a soldier.
Will you want a flag draped over the coffin?
Yes? Yes, I want a flag.
Skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to
Department of the Army, Headquarters, 1st Battalion, 6th Infantry, 198th Infantry Brigade, Americal Division. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Mullen, it is with deepest sorrow that I extend to you the sympathy of the men of the 1st Battalion, 6th Infantry, for the loss of your son, Michael. Michael's unit was located in their night defensive position near the village of Tuchan, approximately 13 miles south of Tam Kee City, in Quang Tin Province, Republic of Vietnam. At 2:50 a.m., the unit was adjusting artillery to provide a predetermined range of fire in the event of enemy contact. During the testing, Michael received a fatal missile wound when an artillery round fell short of its intended target and detonated near his position. Now, you gain some consolation in knowing that Michael was not subjected to any prolonged suffering. I sincerely hope that the knowledge that Michael was an exemplary soldier who gave his life in the service of his country will comfort you in this hour of great sorrow. A memorial service was conducted for your son. Michael's comrades joined me in rendering military honors and final tribute to him. The sincere sympathy of his unit is extended to you in your bereavement. Sincerely yours, Byron Schindler, Lieutenant Colonel, Infantry, Commanding.
That's very nice.
What's nice about it?
I just mean that part about the memorial service with Mikey's bed.
Gene, I've been going over it. I read it 10 times. The unit was adjusting artillery. Now, that means it wasn't all that stuff that Sergeant Fitzgerald told us about the North Vietnamese infiltrating radio channels. It was someone in Michael's own unit that fired that artillery. Now, why? Why should they be doing that at nearly 3 o'clock in the morning unless they were being attacked? And they weren't, because it says, in the event of enemy contact.
That's true. If it was his own unit that called in that artillery, he would have been in a foxhole, and he would have had his flak jacket on.
That's right. And if it was, a shell fell short and detonated near his position, then why did he just have this tiny hole in his back? Isn't that what Tom Loomis told you at the funeral home?
That's all he found. It wasn't any bigger around than the top of a pen.
Or a bullet. And why wasn't there any investigation? Why wasn't there anything in the papers about it? Didn't anybody else get hurt?
Well, sir, we're just going to have to find out.
Well, how? They're not going to tell us any more than this.
We can write to some of Mikey's buddies.
We don't know their names. He never told them to us.
They should have written to us. It's been 2 weeks. I just don't understand
Wait
that.
a minute. There was someone. Somebody from Waterloo. It's in one of his last letters.
Waterloo?
Yes. Here. Here it is. Ran into a boy from Waterloo by the name of Huddleston.
Mm-hmm. Huddleston?
Huddleston.
Yep. Okay. Right here we are. There's 4 of them in here.
Just call. Find out if one of them has a son in Vietnam.
Peg, it's after midnight. We'll call them all in the morning.
Dear Willis, I got your first name from your father, Reverend Huddleston. I think you knew my son, Michael Mullen. You are the only one we know who fought with him in Vietnam. We want to find out more about how Michael was killed. Anything you can tell us about that night will be greatly appreciated.
As I understand it, the Army is asking us to sign a blank pay voucher for our son's final 18 days of pay. Is that right? Well, sir, I'm a working man, and I have never in my life signed a blank pay voucher, and I'm certainly not going to start at this sad moment.
Mrs. Mullen, let me start again. I'll see if I can make this clear. Your son accumulated 44 days leave from 4 September 1968 through date of death. Now, his military pay record shows that he took 21 days advance leave prior to his departure for Vietnam, which, when added to previous Christmas and other leaves, comes to a total of 53 days. Now, since members on excess leave are not entitled to pay and allowances, these were withheld from the period 23 to 31 August 1969.
Are you telling me that the Army is billing my son for the 9 days he took but didn't live long enough to earn back?
Well, that's a way of putting it, but...
And that to collect full pay, he made the mistake of dying before August of 1970?
Mrs. Mullen, these are just standard operating procedures. I mean, there's nothing personal.
Personal? They don't know what that word means. You tell the Army they can keep that final paycheck. It'll pay for embalming his body. They forgot to bill us for that.
Know what you want on it?
Michael's full name, Michael E. Mullen, son of Peg and Jean. Day he was born, September 11th, 1944.
Born September 11th, 1944. And the date he died? Died on...
Not died. Killed.
You wanted to read killed?
Yes.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Mullen, yes, I knew your son pretty good, for we often talked together, and he always let me read his Des Moines newspaper.
The short round that killed Mike also killed another soldier named Hamilton. and wounded 6 or 7 others. The Army has this thing they call DTs. That's defensive targets that they shoot about 200 or 300 meters away from you. They used to do this almost every night, but now they stopped. And you know why? Because when 2 men die and 7 are wounded and there's no investigation and nothing about it in the papers, and they're hiding something that they don't want us or anybody else to know.
Mom, I've got to study.
And then he ends up. If the Army's story is different, please let me know. Sincerely, Willis B. Huddleston.
Can't believe everything a GI is gonna tell you, Peg. Never met one yet. Thought the Army was fighting the war right.
Yeah, any war.
I wouldn't let myself get riled up over something like that.
Well, at least he answered our letter. You can't get anything from the Army. Simple requests like the casualty list for the week Michael died. I wrote and asked them for it twice.
Well, the Army is a little busy, Peg. They're fighting a war.
Don't you think I know that?
Peg, Gina, there isn't anybody in this town doesn't feel bad about Michael. Why, we've known him since he was born.
I remember the first 4-H project he had at the county fair, that big Berkshire sow.
Yes, he was a fine young man. A real credit to the community.
Earl, let me ask you. Doesn't it bother you that we're in a war that Congress never declared?
Now, look, we're having a real nice dinner here. I don't want to get involved in a discussion of...
But doesn't it?
Well, I don't like it that...
Does anyone here know why we're in this war?
Well, I can't say that that's been answered yet to my satisfaction, but...
Well, then why don't you say something? Let them know you care. Don't you have any questions?
Sure. But, well, I don't believe in tearing down the flag to find out the answers. I mean, listen, I've been there.
Well, we all have, all the men at this table.
And you learn a few things. You know, well, for instance, you learn that this country is certainly worth defending.
Well, nobody says it isn't, Earl. There are just different ways of defending it.
Yes, but you don't do it by going out on college campuses and throwing rocks or trying to tell the Army how to run the war. I mean, well, I've got to believe that they know a little bit more about it than I do. And by God, if my country calls, I'll be one of the first guys out there with the bayonet to stab somebody.
I think we should stop talking about the war and start paying some attention to Peg's turkey croquettes. There you go, honey. Help yourself.
I don't want to do that anymore. Spend an evening talking about turkey croquettes.
I guess they were just trying to change the subject.
I know. But I don't want the subject changed.
They're old friends, Peg.
Yes, and they feel guilty, and we feel jealous because their sons didn't have to go or die.
I don't.
Yes, we do, Jean. We can't help it. It's like we're on different roads now. And I feel closer to all those fathers and mothers that write to us that I've never even met.
I know. It's 15 minutes till the news.
How much time on the television would $2,014.20 buy? It's Michael's 6-month gratuity check. It's been sitting here for a week.
Not much. TV's expensive. I've been thinking about what Michael would want us to do with this. John's tuition to Rockhurst. The farm machinery needs repair. Could put up a new fence for the hogs.
We've got to do something to get to people, to wake them up.
A silent message to fathers and mothers of Iowa. We have been dying for 9 long, miserable years in Vietnam in an undeclared war. How many more lives do you wish to sacrifice because of your silence? The 714 crosses represent the 714 Iowans who have died in Vietnam. In memoriam to the Vietnam War dead, whom our son joined, and to those awaiting the acceptable sacrifice in 1970. Those are the words on the advertisement you see behind me, which appeared this morning in a Des Moines newspaper. It was sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Gene Mullen of LaPorte City, Iowa. It was paid for by gratuity payment, sent them by the Army to defray their dead son's funeral expenses. I venture to predict that this Iowa family, living in the heartland of President Nixon's much-vaunted silent majority, have dropped a powerful bomb of their own into the already troubled consciousness of this nation.
Mrs. Mullen, Mr. Mullen, I'd like to ask
Mrs. Mullen,
you...
are you surprised by the reaction to your ad?
Yes, we were.
The telephone hasn't hardly stopped ringing.
And what did you want it to say?
Well, we wanted to say something to other fathers and mothers whose sons are still alive.
Did you write it, or did some anti-war group do the writing for you?
No, Jean here thought up all the crosses.
Well, Peg did the words. She's a lot better with the words.
Do you consider yourselves members of the silent majority?
Well,
maybe we were once, but now we both feel that it's time for
it's just time that people stop being silent and they started to speak out against this war.
Is it true that you turned down your son's posthumous medals?
Well, yes. Why should they give him a good conduct medal for not complaining about what they did to him?
The Bronze Star, now, that's given for bravery. The whole time he was over there, he only saw the enemy 3 times.
See, we don't need them to give him a medal for dying.
If you feel that way, and do you think people should keep their sons from going? Did you try to stop yours?
No. We didn't.
And facing rising opposition against widening the war into Cambodia, the Defense Department said again today that American involvement is restricted to conflict advisors assisting South Vietnamese forces fighting in Cambodia. Secretary of State Myers reiterated the Senate for
You better keep picking up your mail for a while, huh? It's getting a little heavy to be delivering out to your box.
All right, I will.
While affirming that the president has the authority to
Earl?
send at least limited amounts.
Earl! I called your office. They said you were at lunch.
Well, if that's what you call a dip of cottage cheese and 2 skinny slices of tomato, gotta watch it.
I need a favor. That copying machine at the high school broke down again. I've got these letters to run off. They're from mothers all over the country, telling me their sons' units have been going into Cambodia since April 1st, in spite of what the Defense Department says. So I'm sending copies to Senator Fulbright.
I'd like to oblige you, Peg, but, well, I can't today.
Well, it'll only take a half hour or so, and I'll pay for the paper.
I can't do it. It's the last day for filing state returns, and well, you know what that means to an accounting office.
What if I wait till the end of the afternoon?
I'm sorry, Peg, but both my girls are going to be tied up at that machine all day.
That isn't the reason, Earl. Why don't you just say so?
I wouldn't let the President of the United States use that machine today, and that's it.
That isn't it.
I don't want to talk about it, Peg.
You don't like what I'm doing. It's written all over you.
All right. I don't, Peg. It's trash. These letters, that ad, getting on the air, attacking the Army, the government. It's a disgrace to this town and to your boy's memory.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Mullen, today we were informed of rights by the Army. If any of us have written to you in the mail, we can be court-martialed for mutiny and undermining the Army.
Don't publish any article about this, for it would bring harm to people and their futures. Anything sent to you can be censored, as we are in a war zone. Your friend, sincerely, Willis G. Huddleston. Willis didn't write this by himself. Someone dictated it. Look, here. He misspelled the word censored, and it's been crossed out and corrected in a different handwriting. Gene, they don't even try to hide it.
Like they want us to know.
I'm not scared of the Army. What I am scared of is having a letter to me opened and censored. I never thought it could happen in this country.
Way I understand that is what they're saying. We keep on asking questions. We're aiding and abetting the enemy.
No. What they're saying is we are the enemy.
I really don't know. Hang on a second, Peg. I think she's just coming in.
Hi.
It's your mom.
Oh, did you tell her about the Washington trip?
She doesn't want to go. Says she's not the type that clergymen want along when they're going to go lobby against the war. Says she doesn't know how to talk politely.
Hello, Mother. How are you? How's Dad?
We're fine.
Mother, Kelgev isn't just clergymen. It's students. It's... Anyhow, they really do want you to go. Now, I'm going to put Ralph Jenner on. He's the chaplain here, and he's going to head up the U of Iowa group.
Hello, Mrs. Mullen. We not only want you, we need you. You see, when you say something, people listen. You're a celebrity.
I don't like that word.
I know, but it's a fact, and you have to use it.
But I'm just not a public speaker.
Well, perhaps if you... just a moment, please.
Mom, will you just think about it, please?
Yes, but don't count on me, Pat.
I can't hear you. Your voice is fading out.
No, not very well. This phone's been acting up lately. Wait. Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I said don't count on me.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye. Oh, Mother can be so stubborn when she puts her mind to it.
That's why we need her. Yeah.
Oh, there's Mom.
Hello, Mrs. Mullen.
Hello.
I'm Ralph Jenner.
Oh, yes.
We talked on the phone.
That's right. This is my son, John.
How do you do? I just want you to know that I'm very happy that you decided to come with us.
Thank you. I feel like a den mother.
Well, we could use some of that here, too, I'm sure.
All aboard.
I have some information for you here about the senators that we hope to see. May I take that? You know, about their voting record, about the Vietnam War, et cetera, et cetera. Have you lobbied before?
I lobby every day of my life.
And she's not joking.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree standing by the wall.
If the ladies in my card club could see me now.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree standing by the wall.
How's Dad?
Oh, he's fine. I don't like leaving him alone like this, but he wanted us to go.
Mother, Ellen and I want to go ahead and get married.
When?
Next month. We've been putting it off. We wanted to for a while, but now I know how Dad feels.
Well, he just lost Mikey. He's afraid he's going to lose you.
He's not going to lose me.
He doesn't know that. And he misses you. You haven't been home at all this summer.
It's too hard. I feel this thing in people I've known all my life. A kind of a resentment of you, of Dad, all of us. We'd rather be married in Iowa City. All of you can come there. It'll be much easier all around.
Let me talk to Dad. He just needs a little time to get used to it.
How much more?
Another month?
Okay.
The meetings have been pretty good so far. Senator Hughes was cooperative. He listened. But I had a real shouting match with a couple of the others. They say we're living in a dream world if we think we can end this war fast. How are you doing?
Fine. We got that list that we've been asking for. The casualty list for the week Michael died.
You did?
Senator Fulbright got it from the Pentagon. Michael's name wasn't on it.
It wasn't on it, are you sure?
Of course, I'm sure. And I'll tell you who else's name wasn't on it. That Hamilton boy that died the same night. If we had any other names, we could check them out, too. And I wasn't the best name would be there either.
Gene, I can't hear you.
Damn this phone. Can you hear me now?
Gene, speak up. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I'll talk to you later.
Everything okay at home?
What does it mean when the phone keeps clicking, fading in and out?
I'd say your phone was being tapped.
And what we're trying to accomplish is a completely new dimension in the history of warfare. Now, with these pacification programs, we're fighting on two fronts. One with weapons, the other with traditional American generosity and know-how. Now, we're taking in lumber, cement, tools, things that can help the people of South Vietnam to help themselves and improve the quality of their life. I think I can safely say that no nation has ever embarked on such an ambitious program. Not to destroy, but to build. Not to enslave, but to uplift. Not to terrorize and kill, but to ensure an environment in which a free people can survive and prosper. I hope this briefing has been helpful. Lieutenant General Reese and I will be glad to answer any questions.
We have bombed and napalmed most of Vietnam. That doesn't sound very pacifying to me.
I asked for questions.
Well, in the past year, we've been going into neighboring countries. How come the public is not being told about these secret operations?
There are no secret operations in those countries.
We have photographs here of unmarked American aircraft bombing Laos during 1969.
I don't know what pictures you've got, but the rumor that we're bombing Laos is a lie.
Isn't that what you kept telling us about Cambodia? And we know how long we were in there before anyone admitted it.
How do you know that?
Because almost every mother who had a son there heard from him that he was in Cambodia. I talked with mothers whose boys were with the 198th Brigade of the Americal, the 25th Infantry, the Marines, the 1st...
Ma'am, I think...
The 1st Air Cav, the 11th Armored...
Ma'am, just what is your question?
Are you denying that American boys were in Cambodia weeks, months before President Nixon went on TV and said so?
No. You're right, American troops were there. Are there any other...
I haven't finished yet.
Are you a newspaper woman?
No. I'm a farmer's wife. Matter of fact, we just finished hauling our manure before I came down here.
I just thought that you seem to be quite well informed about the war.
Farmers read, Mr. Dietrich, and the war has gotten to Iowa.
You have another question?
I'd like the casualty figures for this week.
Now, would you have that figure, Colonel?
125.
I want the total casualty list, not just the number you publish.
I don't quite understand, Mrs.
Peg Mullen.
That would be 25 more.
Non-battle? Why does the public hear on TV that 125 die when 150 fathers and mothers know that their sons are dead?
Ma'am, I can't quite see how this applies to...
I'll tell you how. I happen to be the mother of one of those boys you didn't count.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Dietrich, it might be helpful if I took Mrs. Mullen to the office with a list compiled.
I don't need to go to any office. I just want to know why you're lying to us about the losses in this war.
Please, if you'll come with me. Mrs. Mullen. Now,
Now, Mrs. Mullen, if you have any specific requests, I'll be glad to get out the records and oblige you.
These are all lists of dead boys' names? What kind of a man are you who could work on this day after day? And you, what kind of women are you?
Mrs. Mullen, I'm just trying to be helpful. I'm sorry. Is there anything else you want?
I want you to send me the names of all the boys who died in Vietnam the week my son was killed. Every name.
Mother, they can't help it. It's their job.
I just want to get out of here.
Legislative Liaison Office, Army, Major Walter Allison, GS Chief. I have been asked by Senators Hughes and Javits to respond to some of your questions. Firing defensive targets is a standard precautionary measure whether or not there is contact with the enemy. Such artillery fire is requested by the forward observer assigned to the company. As to censorship of mail from Vietnam, there is none.
A serviceman is not prevented from communicating with the next of kin of a deceased comrade. He is often encouraged. Do they think we're crazy? We've got Willis Huddleston's letter saying they won't let him write to us, and they know it. What kind of game are they playing with us?
Well, we did find out one thing, though. There was a forward observer who called in the artillery. Now, I'll bet you he could tell us something.
Yes, if we had his name. They're never going to give us any names.
And out of the blue, we hear from this woman in Kentucky. She's the mother of the boy who was killed with Michael, Leroy Hamilton. And she said that the Pentagon gave her our name and asked them to write us.
It's just beautiful.
Now, why would they do that?
And Mary's dress, too.
And the bridesmaids. You must have done so much work.
Unless, of course, they figured that her son was dead, and he couldn't say anything that would get him into trouble. Anyway, I wrote her back, and I said that your father and I would pay them a visit as soon as we could.
I never thanked you for talking to Dad.
Oh, well, it's still hard for him. I heard where 2 Waterloo fathers died within the past year after they heard that their
Mother,
sons...
I don't want to hear that. Not today. This is my day, mine and Alan's. I wanted to be joyful for all of us. Living people need that. It doesn't take away from Michael. It doesn't.
I know it doesn't.
You never stop. You never let up.
Come on, it's all right.
I'm sorry. But I don't want anyone to cry.
My beloved spake and said unto me, Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past. The rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder.
Well, how are you feeling?
A little scared.
Mother, their son died with ours. We'll be talking with folks who know exactly how we feel. Feel the same way.
Well, they must be excited, too.
They know we're coming.
Maybe it's milking time. Hello there.
I'm Michael's mother.
I'm Leroy's mama.
This rhubarb is real special. It's tart, just the way I like it.
I have a whole shelf full in the root cellar. You can take some home.
I'll have to get your recipe.
How many acres do you have here?
100. It's hard land, though, compared to Iowa.
Any land is hard if you don't have enough hands.
Yeah. And I ain't as good as I used to be since I had that tree fall on my back.
My youngest son, he tries hard.
Michael was the one who loved it. We missed him. I guess like you miss Leroy.
Well, I better feed the dogs.
Sure was a nice-looking boy.
Big for his age. We used to go hunting. Climb up them hills. It was real pretty.
Always thought I knew what this country stood for. It had a purpose. I don't know, I feel like we're losing our country. Losing it. We should never have been involved in this war in the first place. Should never have sent American boys to Vietnam. Or...
You keep dogs?
No, sir, I never went in much for hunting.
Good to have around. Friendly. Good boy.
And on his last leave, he stayed past his time. He already had his orders for Vietnam, but he didn't want to go.
But you could have kept him here. Didn't you know that? With your husband's disability, all you had to do was sign a paper saying Leroy was needed here on the farm.
He couldn't bring himself to do it.
Well, why didn't Leroy ask him?
He was ashamed.
Oh, dear God, what did we do to our sons? We taught them to believe that you obeyed, that you did what you were told, that you didn't question. But it was wrong. It was so wrong. They would be alive today. That's what we have to live with. That's what we've got. That's what we have to live with.
John Mullen, Rural Route 2, LaPorte City, Iowa. This is your notice of classification, advising you of the determination of your Selective Service Board. Your draft classification is 1A, available for military service. The law requires you to have this notice in your personal possession at all times. Do not leave the United States or change your address without informing this office. 149 P Street, Waterloo, Iowa.
Hi.
When did this come? Your mother found it in your room.
Yesterday.
Why didn't you tell us?
It's not important.
Not important, John. You should be 4A, sole surviving son. Now, we have to call up the draft board.
I don't want it changed. When it comes time to induct me, then I'll tell them. Watch them wriggle. Or maybe I'll cut out to Canada.
John, I don't like that, not even as a joke.
I am going to call up the draft board right away.
Mother, don't! Don't fight my wars. I can take care of it myself. Just leave the draft board alone.
Now what the hell? Oh, hey, get out of there!
I got him! I got him! Pink, here, come on, Pink, come on! Let him go!
Thank you. We need all the help we can get.
You, Mr. Mullen? I'm Willis Huddleston.
Oh, Willis. Huddleston.
Hello.
This is Peg, Willis, and my son John.
Thanks. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. There was this one kid, though, named Perfect. See, everybody had nicknames. Like, it was Perfect, Razzle Dazzle, Prince. Prince had this funny thing going about having royal blood.
Did Mike have a nickname?
I don't remember. But anyway, though, Perfect sent home enough money from gambling to buy himself a brand new Dodge Charger. He was waiting for him when he came home. Only he got killed. Not the same night as Michael, later on.
What happened that night, Willis? We want to know what went wrong.
Well, we heard these different rumors. Like, okay, somebody said that it was the same gun that killed some guys in Bravo Company.
The same gun?
Yeah, something about, it always fired low. Then we heard that the officer in charge of the guns, he was drunk. Or the guys firing the guns was drunk.
Who? Give me their names. Who was drunk and killed my boy?
I don't know, Mr. Mullen. I mean, that's just something that I heard. Nobody ever said any names. So guys start bitching about, like, what good are helmets, stuff like that. It must have been about 5:30, 6 o'clock because it was just getting dark.
Is that Quintero?
Yeah, he was our forward observer. And so everybody was in their foxholes, and they were going to fire the DTs. You see, the DTs are supposed to be for our own protection. At least that's what the colonel kept telling us, If they want to get at you, let them come through a ring of steel. And all that other gung-ho mess they kept feeding us.
The colonel. Was that Schindler?
Yeah.
What was he like, Willis?
Well, he was kind of young for a lieutenant colonel. And everything was by the book. The type of guy who wants to make brigadier general by the time he's 35.
I know the type.
Anyway, they called off the DTs.
Now, who decided to fire them later at 3 in the morning? Was that him?
I don't know. Only thing I know is that it was a funny time. Everybody was asleep. I had just come off guard duty, and I strung up my hammock. I couldn't sleep on the ground because of the damn leeches. Anyway, I dropped right off to sleep. And then, all of a sudden, like, I heard this boom. I didn't even really hear it. I just woke up and rolled out of my hammock. I grabbed my gun. And then there was just death stillness for about 30 seconds. And then I heard this scream. I mean, I've never heard anything like it in my life. And all the moaning started from all the guys who had gotten hurt. And I heard somebody yelling, "Medic! Medic!" I didn't mean to be hurtful. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
This is the first time I talked about it.
No.
I guess it just all came out.
It's all right,
I'm really
Willis.
sorry.
It is. We asked you.
A lot of people don't understand. Like when a GI comes home, the first thing anybody asks him is, "Hey, man, did you kill somebody?" You say, "No, you didn't." And they say, "Oh, come on, I don't believe you. You didn't kill nobody, man?" You ain't see no action, man? You say, yeah, I got shot at.
Did you kill someone, Willis? You don't have to tell us, not if you don't want to.
Yeah. It was right after, Perfect. He was my best buddy. Right after he got it. See, the dink, he had these 2 grenades. Only I thought he had a pistol. That he was reaching for a pistol. You know, he wouldn't really know where to tell. So I stitched him, you know. And 14 times, you know, I felt so damn good. I killed me one of them damn gooks. And then I saw him dead. And I realized that I had killed another human being. I can't explain the feeling, you know. It's like it made me want to cry. And then, you know, everybody was just, you know, hitting me on the back and telling me, you know, hey, man, you got yourself one, man. Hey, you killed him, man. Oh, Jesus, God. Oh.
Dear President Nixon, it is now just over a year since our son died a needless death in Vietnam. Michael's father and I find it very difficult to live these days. But because we do have faith in God, we feel there will be a special hell for the men and governments that have allowed this war to continue. There will be a judgment to be faced, and it will be as swift as was the death of our son. Mr. President, your plan to end this war is now going into the 3rd year. In the name of God, stop the insane killing of our young men.
Mr. Bryan?
Mrs. Mullen. Thank you for letting me come to see you. I appreciate it.
My husband will be right up from the lower field.
Good.
Just look at that grass. The hogs keep breaking out and getting at it. Michael would have just died if he'd seen it. Come in. How do the folks back east feel about the war?
Well, I know how I feel. I hear the president say the heart of America is good, the heart of America is sound. I just drove across half the country. It isn't. When the government of the United States loses the loyalty of an Iowa farm family, it's in very bad trouble.
Well, we're not exactly your typical Iowa farm family, Mr. Bryan. Just ask anyone in LaPorte City.
I did.
Coffee?
The waitress at Mom's Cafe said other people have lost their sons in the war and they don't go around protesting. The man at the gas station told me they must be crazy with grief or they wouldn't be dancing on their son's grave. Thanks for interrupting your work.
How did you come to call us? Peg didn't get it straight over the phone.
A friend of mine sent me your ad. We're both novelists. Taught together for a while at the University of Iowa in the Writers' Workshop. In fact, I think your daughter Patricia might have been in one of my classes.
I see.
Anyway, he knows I have strong feelings about the war, so he thought this might be a magazine article I'd be interested in doing.
What would you put in such an article?
I don't know yet. Whatever you and your wife want to tell me.
I'd like for people to know what it feels like to have your telephone tapped. What it's like to be considered an enemy in a country that you've always loved. What it's like to walk down the streets of your own town, have people turn their heads away.
What is it like?
Lonely.
The Army has told us that our son was killed by an artillery round that fell short. Now, what they haven't told us is how it happened. Who was responsible?
Are you saying you believe they're deliberately concealing something from you?
Yes.
Maybe doing this article would help us find out.
I don't know. It might.
Well, let's get started. Well, we know a good deal about what happened. We know that the guns were fired from a hill about 4 miles off, and Michael was killed here. Leroy Hamilton here. And there was a colored boy named Polk from Detroit was sleeping right between them, right here.
We located him in the federal penitentiary in Terre Haute, and they told us he went berserk.
Yeah. Say, what, he said he shot at somebody or something?
No, yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Jean, I was glad to get your letter. The reason why I'm in the lockup, well, it started a couple nights after Michael died. I was out in the field when this E5 called me a nigger, and I almost shot him. Then I woke up in the hospital with a concussion. They said I hit a lieutenant and some civilians, and then somebody hit me. All the time, I kept seeing the death of your son. I have dreams about it, Mrs. Jean. I tried to write you before, but they wouldn't give me your address.
Why would they stop that boy from writing us and keep him locked up in jail?
We found out the charges against him, Polk, were signed by Colonel Schindler. You see, everywhere we turn, it comes right back to him.
Right, there was an investigation of the night Michael died and a report. And we wrote this Colonel Schindler, and we asked him for it, but he never sent it.
That's right. Never heard a word. Not the first thing.
No, it's not the first time we haven't heard from him either.
You know, you see, if Mike had died on the streets of LaPorte City, if some drunk had run over him, that would be manslaughter, and there'd be a trial. Well, we're sick and tired of the military never having to answer to anybody but themselves.
What are these letters?
The boys in Mike's platoon. They ended up writing us, even though they told them not to. Here's some letters from the Army. There's some missing. I sent to Pat.
Oh, this is great for me to have, Peg. What I'd like to do is Xerox them and send them back to you. Would that be okay?
Of course. Here's the death certificate. We finally got it.
A missile wound in his chest?
See, even that's not true. The wound was right here. Tiny little hole. How could it be so small?
You got any land, Cordy, back there in Connecticut?
Just about 1 acre. Mostly planted in children and dogs. Nothing like this, of course.
There's a smell in this earth. Not in any catalog of smells. Sweet. Every time I walk these fields, I wonder if I'm putting my foot down where my grandfather walked, or my great-grandfather. It isn't the land, the acreage. It's all those generations walking beside you every time you turn the soil. Mikey knew that. He knew. He was going to carry it on.
This is Jean's grandfather and grandmother.
Patrick and Marianne.
Yeah.
Here are all their children, their sons and daughters.
Pretty stern stock.
That's the kind of people built this country.
You called the draft board. I asked you not to.
John, you could have found yourself in Vietnam before it all got straightened out. Now, you don't fool around with the Army.
Damn the Army. I'm sick of hearing about them. I'm sick of the war. I'm sick of this house.
John. Look, maybe it had something to do with me. Coming here, stirring it all up. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I just know I can't listen anymore. Too much can turn you off, and it's not going to bring Mike back.
It's none of my business, I know. But they need you.
I'll be back. Always come back.
He just went into town.
That basketball hoop. Michael brought it home when he was about 14. I said, Mikey, it'll never stand. The wind will blow it down. I was only trying to protect him. I guess you never can protect them, can you? Anyway, he went ahead and put it up. He was determined. Look at it. It's still up there.
Peg, I've got to go back tomorrow.
Oh, so soon?
I've been here nearly a week.
It doesn't seem that long.
Besides, you and Jean have given me a ton of stuff. I'm going to need time to absorb it all. What I have to do is go back to Connecticut, get a little distance, so I can begin to see the shape of what you've told me.
How long does that take?
Oh, it depends. It's kind of a strange process. Sometimes it all just falls into place. More often it doesn't.
You won't forget us, Cordy, will you?
Forget? I've been playing those tapes all the way through from Iowa. And then at night, I play the damn things through again in my head. I'm sorry, darling, I let the laundry pile up. I don't know how to describe it. The two of them there, locked into a kind of exile, needing to tell it all. And they're convinced that the Army's involved in some sort of a cover-up.
Are you?
Well, they certainly went to great lengths to shut them out. Mail's been censored, phone's been tapped.
Sounds like a hell of a piece. What'll you do, about 6,000 words?
I think I want to do a book. Am I out of my mind?
Yes. Tell him. You're his agent.
Well, I'm afraid I have to agree with her.
Who in America wants to read a book about the Vietnam War? I mean, they see it in the news every night. They get it in the papers. They're sick of it.
Well, the bigger question is, who wants to write about it? Obviously you do. Why?
I don't know. I've protested, I've marched. I'm tired of marching. I listen to the news reports of the casualty figures and my eyes glaze. I yawn. My God. 45,000 men are dead and I can turn over and go to sleep. 3/4 of the country turns over and goes to sleep. Maybe it's because nobody gives them names. The casualties. How do you make a war personal? Who was Michael Mullen? How much of all of us died with him?
Each day, to facilitate the process by which the United States washes her hands of Vietnam, someone has to give up his life, so that the United States doesn't have to admit something that the entire world already knows, so that we can't say that we've made a mistake. Someone has to die so that President Nixon won't be, and these are his words, the first president to lose a war. And we are asking Americans to think about that. Because how do you ask a man to be the last man to die in Vietnam? How do you ask a man to be the last man to die for a mistake? And so when 30 years from now our brothers go down the street without a leg, without an arm, or a face, and small boys ask why, we will be able to say Vietnam, and not mean a desert, not a filthy, obscene memory, but mean instead the place where America finally turned, and where soldiers like us helped it in the turning. Thank you.
Former Navy Lieutenant John Kerry's speech before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee set the tone for yesterday's peace march in Washington, when almost 500,000 men, women, and children from all over the nation...
Hello, Cordy? This is Gene.
Gene! Where are you?
In Washington.
I've just been watching the march on television. It's terrific.
Look, we'll drive up to New Haven tomorrow. Can we come out to see you?
Sure, I'll come and pick you up. But what's up?
Cordy, we found him. We've located Colonel Schindler. Are you all right? Lieutenant Colonel Schindler. I'm Gene Mullen. This is my wife.
Pleased to meet you both. This is Major Knapp. You want to pull up a couple of stools? If you don't have a bad back, they're guaranteed to produce one.
We don't need to sit down. As I told you on the phone, I intend to press charges against you in a federal court for killing my son.
Okay, now wait a minute.
I consider you the man responsible.
Mr. Mullen, I don't know where you got that idea.
Also for covering up the circumstances of his death.
Mr. Mullen, please, there's some misunderstanding here. I had nothing to do with the death of your son or the investigation. Believe me, no one was more upset about Michael than I was, and that's why I wanted you to come here today so we could talk face to face.
And all the time we were there, that major, what was his name?
Major Knapp.
That Major Knapp. He was just sitting there in his uniform, listening to everything.
He was there when we got there, like it was all prearranged, just set.
Never said a word. Made me sick.
Did they say why he was there?
I think maybe, you see, they wanted to scare us, make us go easy. But I didn't. I said to him, you tell us your story of what happened that night.
Then he started to talk about it, how he was on the hill with the artillery when that captain radioed him.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
So I ran right over to that artillery unit, and I ordered them to stop firing their guns and to lock the guns. You see, it was the second friendly incident like that to happen to my battalion in a month. And I was furious. I was so damn mad that when that artillery battalion commander flew in the next morning with the investigating team, I couldn't even talk to him.
Then he was the man responsible.
No, I'm not saying that. Only in the sense that the unit commander is on the line for everything his unit does or fails to do.
Were the men at the guns drinking?
Yes, they were, but that... Maybe you better talk to that artillery battalion commander. He's in Washington now, assigned to the Pentagon.
Yes, I remember the incident.
Colonel, ever since our son died, we have been trying to find out who was responsible.
I didn't conduct the investigation, you understand. That was done by artillery officers from other companies, and then the results were given to General Ramsey.
We heard the men at the guns were drinking beer.
That's not so.
Then why does Colonel Schindler say so?
I'll discuss that with him.
He says a lot of procedures were changed after that night, and it was about time because too many men
What do
were
all
getting
you people
killed.
think? That we run around with pistols shooting at everyone? Artillery fire isn't 100% accurate. When we fire 400 rounds a night, we're going to kill a few we shouldn't. If you want to ask questions, why don't you ask their commanding officer what they were doing in 6-inch sleeping trenches instead of foxholes?
There's no love lost between the artillery and the infantry, you know.
Has your attitude towards Colonel Schindler changed now that you've had a chance to sit down and talk to him?
I don't know. When I first saw him in that body cast, I thought, well, the good Lord is taking care of you.
Cordy, that's enough. Let Peg and Jean relax and enjoy their tea. Did Cordy tell you how much we loved the time we lived in Iowa?
Yes, he did.
People were so friendly. We used to take all our things to the laundromat, and they'd say, just go and do your shopping and come back and we'll have it all folded for you. I got spoiled.
You see, I think he's changed. Laying there with that back injury.
When I heard the boys talk about him, I absolutely hated him. And then he told us, I insisted on discipline. I required the boys to wear helmets, jackets, to take proper precautions. I tried to save their lives, and I don't know. If Michael had worn his flak jacket that night, if... Oh, I'm sorry. Oh. Don't let me sleep too long.
For God's sake, Peg, you could take an hour without feeling guilty. She's exhausted.
You know, we still get hundreds of letters. Some of them are just addressed to Peg, LaPorte City, Iowa. She answers every one, every phone call. People say to her, what are you accomplishing? You're just exhausting yourself. She says to me, maybe we can save one life. We didn't save Michael's.
Aren't you coming to bed?
In a while. Sam, thanks.
For what?
For the lunch, the flowers, it was nice.
I don't think they even noticed.
They did. They've just been at this for such a long time, fighting for every crumb. They're in a lot of pain.
I know. But why do you have to make it yours?
If I can just get a hold of Schindler, a couple of the others, listen to what they have to say objectively, sort it out.
Then what?
Then I may be able to tell them what they need to know. How their son died. So they'll be able to put it to rest. Once and for all.
I don't know quite what to expect.
Is that why you wanted Major Knapp there?
He was from the judge advocate's office. I thought it was best to have a witness.
Were you worried about the possibility of being taken into court?
I was shocked. You know what was going on with the Americano? Medina, Cali, an investigation. So I thought, okay, it's my turn. But I knew I had nothing to hide. I just wanted to set these people's minds at ease so they could see that I was a human being that cared about their son. Or do they think my only concern was for myself?
They think you were ambitious? And that you went back to Vietnam a second time to further your career?
That's hogwash. I didn't need my ticket punched. I went back because I knew the country I could save people.
Was there any reason to anticipate an attack that night?
Yes, we had intelligence reports that a North Vietnamese Army Rocket Battalion commander had been moved into the valley with sizable security.
And you expected contact?
I tried to impress that on my men so they'd be ready.
What about your junior officers? Did they have any experience in the field?
Not always. I'd say the best, the most experienced officer I had was in Charlie Company. Captain Bannock, company commander.
The first lift came in pretty fast because we didn't know what to expect. And Colonel Schindler, he wanted to know our tactical situation the minute we hit the ground.
Was Mike Mullen in that first lift?
I think so, but I'm not sure. Hey, look, frankly, you feel like you're sitting up there in this glass elevator that makes a great moving target. I mean, the VC, they love to shoot down helicopters.
Did your men have to make a jump?
No, but we were carrying extra ammo for the mortar platoon. So we had to land in those damn weeds up there.
Take care of it.
Black Smoke 1, over.
This is Black Smoke 6. Do you have any contact?
No, we have no contact. Our LZ is cold.
Roger.
Was it your first jump? Yeah, but I wasn't scared. You don't get scared till you see someone die. What you think is it's a movie, and you're John Wayne. Have a seat.
Why did you go in as a medic?
Didn't have any choice. They sent me to medic school. 10-week course. Mostly dressings, a little bit needles. That's generally all you have to do before you call in medevac.
Did you think there'd be trouble on this mission?
Well, they kept telling us how dangerous it was.
But we never saw anything, except leeches. Plenty of those. You could follow their trail right up to the command post. Be careful with this bag.
Okay.
How close do you want those DTs?
I can tell about 200 meters out. I mean, if they're gonna come at us, I want them to face us or our guns.
I don't think artillery will fire under 400 meters.
Oh, yeah?
For safety reasons. Check that out, will you, Paul? You can always adjust later if you need to.
Damn bloodsuckers. I'm gonna string me up a hammock tonight. They ain't gonna eat off of me.
Hey, all right.
Hey, Prince.
Turkey.
Leeches bother you, huh?
Leeches do not touch blue blood.
Hey, Mullen! Mullen! Kiss that!
Hey, stupid mosquitoes. This place ain't good for nothing. Hey, Leroy, where's the bug spray, man?
Better spray your fatigues, too.
Lieutenant Quintero, negative clearance on 200 meters. They say at least 400.
Okay.
No sweat. You know what, Mullen? I'm gonna get myself out of here one way or another. What are you gonna do when you get out?
Well, there's a girl I like. I might get something like a VW bus and drive around the country, all the different states. Till school starts.
Yeah, you're getting short, ain't you?
Yeah, about 100 days more, if I get my early out.
Sergeant Mullen, tell your squad to put on their flak jackets and get in their foxholes. Artillery's firing our DTs now.
All right, sir. Hey, Leroy. Yo. Put on your flak jackets. They're gonna fire the DTs. And stay in your foxholes. Hey, Prince. Believe it or not, that means you.
Hey, you know what the chaplain's name is?
What's that?
Stu Good.
Boo. Well, I believe you made that up.
Oh, come on, Leroy. Can I make that up? Come on, he spells it D-U-I-G-U-I-D. Do good.
Hey, you clowns, wake up. They're gonna fire the DTs. Put on your flak jackets and stay in your foxholes.
Hey, what are these damn DTs
Hey,
for
Taz.
anyway?
Schumacher, will you stop being such a new boy? You know what the colonel keeps telling us. These are practice shots, men. For your own protection.
Sure, he's up on the hill with the guns. Lieutenant Quintero says they just called off the DTs. Something must have fouled up.
In the army, man.
Artillery's just called the DTs off. first. You, Cactus. You, Poke. Well, good night, girls.
Good night, Princess.
Hey, Prince. They got you pulling guard. The prince does not pull guard. The prince protects his friends. Hey, Poke. You should know that by now. That Leroy, he doesn't even dream. It's time to retire. Hey, Cactus. Cactus, wake up. That's it. Shh. It's the Artie on 410.
Sounds like you're firing over Delta Company. Think you're under attack?
At 0200, that's a hell of an hour for a war.
Sir. Lieutenant Quintero, they're going to fire our DTs now.
Now?
Shall I wake the men? Tell them to put on their flak jackets?
No. We already dealt one false alarm tonight. Let them sleep. But do tell the captain, though.
Yes, sir. I'll do it.
Captain, our DTs are gonna fire now. Lieutenant Quintero wanted you to know.
Willie Peter, testing airburst 50 meters up. Over.
That's where we wanted it. You can tell fire direction okay.
Willie Peter, on target. Repeat, HE.
Repeat, H-E!
Repeat, H-E!
Fuse quick!
Fuse quick!
Charge 3!
Charge 3!
Deflection 5600!
Deflection 5600!
Elevation 222!
Elevation 222!
At my command!
At your command!
Grab your rifle, we're being overrun.
Get a medic over here!
Peter, they're supposed to be shooting on the outside. They're shooting at us.
Medic! Ah! Help! Oh, God! Oh!
Mullen. Mullen, you all right? Mullen!
This is Black Smoke 1, Oscar. We need an immediate medevac helicopter now. Over.
Okay, you're all right.
It's a traumatic amputation, sir. I'll have to put a tourniquet on his leg and then straighten it, so I'll need somebody to help hold him down.
Yeah, all right, I'll do it.
Tell me, Doc! Die, Captain!
It's okay.
Tell me something.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? How bad is it?
Yeah.
Am I gonna walk?
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. Doc's taking care of it.
Rodriguez, hold her tourniquet right here.
Damn it, Rodriguez, that's so tight! Got to. The prince must not bleed. Doc, will I be able to walk?
Sure. It's bad, but you'll be able to walk it.
One more thing. Will I be able to walk?
Doc, it's Leroy. He's hurt too.
Oh, no, not Leroy.
Yeah, hold this.
His guts are all shot out, but I still feel a pulse. Try mouth to mouth and keep working at it.
Doc, I think Mullen's been hurt.
Still warm. Piece of shrapnel must have entered his back. No exit wound.
I was sleeping right next to him, and I didn't even get hurt.
Sergeant Mullen is dead, sir. It's no use, sir. He's dead.
Black Smoke 1. Black Smoke 1. Black Smoke 1.
Black Smoke 6, this is Black Smoke 1.
Stay near your radio. I need to know what's going on. Have you got a landing zone for the medevac?
Yes, sir. Look, I've got 7 wounded. 2 of my men have bought the farm. If I don't get it soon, 2 more will.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Stay in touch. Black Smoke 6 out. Keep those guns frozen until the investigating team looks at them tomorrow. And I don't want anything touched. Anything.
Let's go.
Give us a hand here, Harrison!
Come on, we need some help.
Okay, down slow.
No.
Watch his leg. It's all right. Take it easy, real slow. Okay? 1, 2, 3.
Watch your step.
Slow, don't jerk.
It was a waste. A damn stupid waste. Which, if I had to dwell on it, it'd get me absolutely teed off.
Does it make you feel foolish that you were a part of that?
No, why should it? It wasn't like someone said we're having this little war and anybody who wants to can come and join in. It was you're in the army, man, shape up and ship out. Hey, look, I don't want to get hung up on all this again. I gotta go.
Can I talk to you tomorrow?
I don't know.
Oh! Feel thinner.
You must be hugging my wallet.
Gee, look who's here.
Gee,
how's the family?
Everybody's just fine.
It's been almost 9 months. I can't believe it.
You staying to dinner?
Uh-huh.
And tomorrow, you know, tomorrow is, it's 2 years since Michael came home.
I know that.
We got a special treat for you.
What's that?
Pork tenderloin, about the best cut you can get from a hog. One of our own.
That was terrific. I hope at least it was that character that kept busting through the fence.
It's them or us. Feed and fertilizer just went up 8%.
Gene's on a 2-month layoff from the factory.
People around here must be feeling it.
They are. They're starting to realize what this war has cost them.
But you know something, Cordy? Things are changing. We went to a funeral last week, a neighbor of ours, Burton Lynch. Everybody loved old Bert, and there was a big turnout.
People who would turn their heads when they saw me on the street were walking right up to us and saying, hello. And I returned the cordiality. And they wanted to stand there and talk to us, even about the war. Didn't they, Peg?
Michael loved Bert. Even on his last day, when he had all the work to do around the farm here and he just didn't have enough time, Michael made the time to go over and visit with Bert. Why does this always happen when I'm around you, Cordy? I don't know. I don't cry very much anymore.
Well, sir.
Look, I don't know if it's the proper time or not, but I've spent the last few months talking to some of the men. Bannock, the Prince, Barrows, Colonel Schindler. As much as anyone can know another person's death, I think I know about Michael's. And I can give you all the information I've learned and...
I don't know if that'll be necessary.
Of course, it's up to you.
We know he was hit between the shoulder blades, wasn't he?
Yes, a piece of shrapnel entered his back and pierced his heart. He died right away in his sleep. But what I mean is I can give you the background on the operation, what the mission was.
I tell you, Cordy, there's something always bugged me. Why did they cover it up?
I don't think it was a conspiracy, Gene.
It was never in the news. 2 boys were killed, 7 were wounded. Why wouldn't they ever send us the investigation report?
Because it was classified for official use only, which kept it from being released to civilians, even parents.
Who told you that, Schindler?
Yes.
I thought so. Did any of these people you talked to tell you why the guns were fired so late and not at 8 o'clock?
Yes, Gene, he explained that. All artillery firing is done on priorities. In this case, Charlie Company's firing time was preempted, so they had to wait till time was available.
2:30 in the morning?
At any time.
What about the drinking at the guns? Schindler told us about that himself.
Yes, there was drinking, but it didn't matter because the arrow wasn't on the guns.
Well, then where was it?
It was at the Fire Direction Center 10 miles away. Evidently, somebody failed to compute the correct height of the trees. So the round hit a tree and was deflected.
Hit a tree?
The man responsible was given an official reprimand. It wasn't deliberate negligence, Peg. Just a stupid, senseless accident of war that happens occasionally.
Occasionally. Would you call thousands of deaths occasional? Misadventures, that's what they call them. And they don't even list them in the casualty counts.
Because they don't want you to know how many are killed that way by the Army's own mistakes. That's why they threatened the boys with court-martial when they tried to write us about that. Now, did you ask your Colonel Schindler about that?
Yes. He says it's a matter of policy.
Whose policy?
It was a directive from the top, Gene. They want to be sure that no conflicting details are given, no inconsistent facts.
We didn't get any facts. Except for the ones they wanted us to get.
What they were trying to do was to spare you the anguish that varying stories might give.
Spare us anguish.
Colonel Schindler gives you these nice, neat answers. Now, the man has had time to think, to get his story straight.
Gene, I don't think that Colonel...
When I saw him at the Walter Reed, I was looking at an officer of the United States Army with guilt complex.
He didn't kill Michael. You know that. Why should he feel guilty?
Because he was hungry. His accident on the morning report, body counts.
Gene, we're just going around in circles. Now, I didn't come here to defend the military, the government, or the system. That's not what I came back to do.
What did you come back for?
I thought that if I could find out the facts for you, if I could learn what happened to Michael, how he died, I might be helping you. I guess I don't know what you want from me.
What we want from you? You came out here, I thought you wanted something from us.
What do you mean? What do you think I wanted from you?
You wanted a story. You wanted a book.
Well, yes, but I wanted the truth.
Whose truth? Their truth or ours?
The truth is not yours or theirs. The truth is just the truth.
You think the truth is theirs?
Peg, Gene, I don't want to have to choose sides. I think you should know that Colonel Schindler and Captain Bannock were good officers and good men.
I don't buy Schindler. I don't buy the military. Now, if that is a slanted bias on my part, there's just nothing that's ever going to change that.
I thought you understood, but you don't. Maybe you can't. When you lose your son, there's only one side.
Hello?
Corny, where have you been?
I went for a walk in the rain.
Well, I've been trying to get you for hours. How are the Mullins? Are they pleased? Do they like what you're doing with the book?
I don't know if I've got a book.
What do you mean?
They think I'm using them.
Well, you are. You want to tell a story, they want a story told. You're using each other.
Carl, I'll call you when I get back to the city tomorrow night.
All right. And Cordy, stop bleeding.
Because ignorance is bliss, right?
Well, then how do you let them know?
Can't. That's what I've been trying to tell you. You can write a million books like this and you still won't get through. Because people, they'll read it and go, ah, gee. Is that so?
Sometimes you get through.
Yeah. But how's that going to help me? Because even if the whole world reads this story, it's still not going to...
Bring your leg back?
It's not going to change anybody's mind. It's not that close to it.
You won't let people get close to you. How do you feel? What did you lose your leg for?
Look, I don't want to get into these deep thoughts, okay?
Do you have deep thoughts like that?
Yeah.
Do you share them with anybody?
Sometimes. Some people.
What kind of people?
Vietnam vets.
Doesn't that make you some kind of a snob? You can't possibly understand what happened because he wasn't there? Look, I came down here because I really want to know you.
You came down here because you're a writer. We're not just sitting around and BSing.
I'm always a writer.
That's what I'm talking about. You don't want to know me. You want me to fit into some kind of character. You think
I don't want
ought
you to fit into anything. I want you to be whoever you are.
And turn off the tape.
Well, there's a lawyer who specializes in military cases. The thing is, don't worry. Everything's going to be all right. Yes. It's a widow with 6 children. Her son's a helicopter gunner in Vietnam. God knows how he survived. He's gone AWOL 3 times this year to come home because she's sick. Now they're holding him at Fort Hood. I can stand anything but when they start to cry. How can I help her?
You did. You were there with names, phone numbers?
If she doesn't get anywhere, I'll call Senator Hughes myself. Or maybe that major. No, Gene, now don't. Not today.
Are we crazy? Are we? How long can we go on doing this?
That lady who came to see us, whose son got killed, what was it, 15 years ago? I listened to her talking about him, and I said, my God, am I going to be doing this the rest of my life? How can you live a lifetime of being angry? But we have to. We have to, so that Michael's death, all their deaths, will have some meaning.
I'd like to come with you.